A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. Bringing you the news this evening, I am Stevin Machado.
And I am Hashni Patharana. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
The headlines on Newsfirst.
Healthy school canteen guidelines issued. 5 food categories banned. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer resigns. New candidate enters race. US Assistant Secretary Paul Kapoor arrives in Sri Lanka for talks. Sri Lanka affirms neutral foreign policy, commitment to international law. Former Navy Commander Vasantha Karannagoda skips bribery commission appearance again. Elephant attack kills Mahout and assistant in tragic incident. Dengue cases surge as daily infections exceed 1,000 mark.
On to your top story tonight. The guidelines on healthy school canteens were officially launched today. The event was held at the Colombo Faculty of Medicine Auditorium under the patronage of Health and Mass Media Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa.
Now, under these guidelines, the sale of food items falling under 5 main categories has been prohibited in school canteens. Food prepared using artificial additives and flavorings, which are classified as ultra-processed foods, and their sale is also prohibited. Why have these food items been banned in school canteens? What is the background behind this decision? The nutritional status of school children directly impacts their physical and mental growth and development, as well as their academic performance. According to health authorities, the lack of safe and nutritious food and beverages negatively affects students' education. It also contributes to stunting, wasting, overweight, obesity and micronutrition deficiencies. According to data collected during National Nutrition Month 2025, 10.1% of children in Sri Lanka are stunted, 8.6% are wasted, 16.1% are underweight and 0.57% are overweight or obese. Taking this situation into consideration, although guidelines on healthy school canteens had been developed over a long period, they had not been implemented. Accordingly, a new circular has now been issued, replacing previous ones. Health authorities state that the objective of this decision is to free children from non-communicable diseases and to create a healthier future generation.
According to the data we have, the number of people in our society who are becoming overweight and obese shows a higher tendency to develop non-communicable diseases at a young age within a short period of time. Children aged between 13 and 17 were assessed in this study. In fact, 17.4% of school children consume carbonated beverages daily at least once or more. Similarly, 28.5% consumes foods high in salt, 29% consumes food high in fat, and 41% consumes food high in sugar at least once or more each day.
What are the criteria included in these guidelines? The guidelines for maintaining healthy and nutritious school canteens have been issued under 4 main criteria. Criteria 1. Maintaining school canteens and premises according to proper standards. Criteria 2. Proper management and supervision. Criteria 3. Human resource management. Criteria 4. Provision of safe and nutritious food. School canteens and their premises must be maintained according to required standards. In this regard, a school food committee must be appointed under the leadership of the principal to supervise the entire process of providing food to students through the canteen. Canteen staff must undergo medical examinations as recommended by the Area Medical Officer of Health and ensure that all activities are carried out in a manner that safeguards the health of students. Under the criteria for providing safe and nutritious food, the guidelines clearly specify the foods that should be promoted daily and those that are prohibited. The foods that are banned from sale and promotion fall under 5 main categories: foods containing unhealthy fats, foods high in salt and artificial flavorings, foods high in sugar, high-calorie foods with low nutritional value, ultra-processed foods. What are ultra-processed foods? Foods prepared using artificial additives and flavorings are classified as ultra-processed foods and their sale is prohibited.
පාසන් අලෙව කිරීම තහනම් කළ ආහාර අතිසැකසූ මස් හා මාළු
Foods banned from sale in schools include ultra-processed meat and fish products such as sausages, meatballs, bacon and ham. Foods prepared using such processed meats, including sausage buns, burgers, hot dogs, submarines and pizza are also prohibited. Sugary bakery items such as cream buns and jam buns, pastries and deep-fried snacks are banned. Products made with artificial flavorings such as chili paste, soup cubes, seasoning powders, instant soups and processed sauces like tomato sauce and soy sauce are restricted. Instant noodles, packaged and canned pickles, chewing gum, toffee, lollipops, lozenges, chocolates and high-sugar sweets such as jujubes and other confectionery are banned. Ice packets, jelly products with high gelatin content and salty snacks like bundi, muscat, dodol, murukku, extruded snacks and chips are also prohibited. Chocolates, donuts, eclairs are also banned. Additionally, restricted items include biscuits, cakes, puddings with high sugar content, ice cream, processed desserts, carbonated drinks, sugar-rich beverages, artificially colored drinks, flavored milk and yogurt drinks, energy drinks, fruit-flavored beverages, nectars, cordial drinks, and instant tea and coffee products. While this list may make it seem like there are very limited food options, the guidelines actually include a large number of alternative main meal recipes, snack options, and visually illustrated preparation methods.
අතුරු ආහාර වට්ටෝරු විශාල ප්‍රමාණයකුත් වර්ණවත් රූපත් ඒවා හදන විදිහත් ඔක්කොම එක්ක ඇතුළත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
According to the guidelines, 3 categories of food should be promoted daily: main meals, snack items, beverages.
Some parents may think that after implementing these measures, there will be nothing left for children to eat in school canteens. That is a natural concern. However, people must understand that this program is designed with the future in mind, targeting the children who will become the aging population of this country in 2070, 2080 and beyond. In recent times, when we introduced various regulations on certain food items, we received complaints from some schools saying that companies which previously supported events like sports meets are no longer offering assistance. Now that is the challenge. So the question is, are we going to allow children to consume these foods simply to cover expenses from events like sports meets? Or are we going to prioritize the nutrition of the future generations that will contribute to the country's development in the coming decades? This is a task that requires a bold approach. There are obstacles not only from profit-driven companies, but also from certain public habits. We must overcome all of them.
A new law aimed at preventing organized crime while safeguarding public rights will be introduced in place of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. President Kumar Dissanayake made this statement during a discussion held to explore swift solutions to challenges faced by the apparel sector.
The discussion held this afternoon at the Presidential Secretariat was attended by leading business figures and investors from Sri Lanka's apparel industry. The President emphasized that the government will extend maximum support to strengthen the country's export economy. He also outlined future policy plans aimed at achieving this objective. President Kumar Dissanayake further invited investors to expand industrial operations into rural areas, noting that such a move would help strengthen the export economy. Discussions also focused on a plug-and-play mechanism, under which the government will facilitate necessary infrastructure and factory buildings to support investors. Attention was also drawn to issues faced by local raw material suppliers due to the VAT tax system, and businesses were requested to submit proposals on possible relief measures. The President also highlighted the need to strengthen legal and technological mechanisms to prevent the outflow of illegally earned funds from the country, and stated that a new law to combat organized crime while ensuring the protection of public rights will be introduced to replace the Prevention of Terrorism Act, or the PTA. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs S. Paul Kapoor called on Sri Lanka's President Kumar Dissanayake in Colombo. In an X statement following the meeting, Kapoor said that the discussions centered on advancing maritime security cooperation, unlocking trade and investment opportunities. Kapoor emphasized the growing partnership between the two nations, highlighting shared efforts to enhance cooperation in the strategically vital Indo-Pacific region.
Sri Lanka has reaffirmed its neutral foreign policy in talks with the United States Assistant Secretary of State for South and Asian Central Affairs.
Sri Lanka has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining a neutral and internationally compliant foreign policy as Foreign Affairs Minister Vijitha Herath held high-level discussions with United States Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs S. Paul Kapoor at the Foreign Ministry. During the meeting, Minister Herath noted that Sri Lanka consistently acts in accordance with international law while upholding a balanced and non-aligned approach in global affairs. He expressed gratitude for assistance provided in securing fuel supplies during the recent conflict-driven volatility in the Middle East, highlighting the crucial role played by the US in helping Sri Lanka navigate external economic pressures. Emphasizing Sri Lanka's economic outlook, the minister stated that the country has established a secure and investment-friendly environment, inviting American investors to explore business opportunities across key sectors. He assured that the government remains committed to facilitating and supporting foreign investment by providing the necessary infrastructure and policy backing to ensure sustainable growth. Responding to the discussions, Assistant Secretary S. Paul Kapoor reaffirmed the United States' strong appreciation for its long-standing relationship with Sri Lanka, highlighting the importance of continued engagement and cooperation between the two nations. The meeting also saw an exchange of views on broader international developments, including the recently initiated United States-Iran agreement. Minister Herath extended his best wishes for the success of the agreement, signaling Sri Lanka's support for diplomatic efforts aimed at promoting stability and peace in the region.
The United States has announced a major boost to Sri Lanka's maritime security capabilities with the provision of advanced fleet broadband satellite communications technology to the Sri Lankan Navy, aimed at strengthening connectivity across some of the world's busiest shipping routes. The announcement was made aboard SLNS Gajabahu at the port of Colombo by U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs, Paul Kapoor, during a high-level engagement focused on deepening bilateral maritime cooperation. Deputy Minister of Defence, retired Major General Aruna Jayasekara and Sri Lankan Navy Commander Vice Admiral Kanchana Banagoda hosted Assistant Secretary Kapoor on board the naval vessel, where discussions centred on enhancing maritime security, improving operational coordination and leveraging advanced communications technology to safeguard critical sea lanes. General Kevin Schneider, commander of U.S. Pacific Air Forces, arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday to begin a 3-day visit that reflects the growing strength of the U.S.-Sri Lanka defence partnership.
During his visit from the 21st to the 24th June, General Schneider will meet with senior Sri Lankan government and defence leaders, including leadership from the Ministry of Defence and the Sri Lanka Air Force. Their discussions will focus on expanded cooperation across air and maritime domain awareness, cybersecurity, disaster response and regional security. As the PACAF commander, General Schneider oversees all US Air Force personnel and assets in the theatre.
Former Navy Commander Vasantha Karanagura has informed the Bribery Commission that he was unable to appear before it today. He cited a medical condition as the reason to his inability to attend. Former Navy Commander Vasantha Karanagura had been summoned to Siabok in connection with an ongoing investigation into Yoshitha Rajapaksa, who allegedly joined the Navy as an executive officer following the alteration of the required qualifications and received training at the Britannia Royal Naval College using misappropriated state funds. He had also been summoned before the Bribery Commission on the 16th, but he declined to appear on that day, claiming that he had not received the letter of summons. Regarding the investigation, Yoshitha Rajapaksa was arrested on the 17th and, after being produced before court, was released on 3 personal bail bonds of 5 million rupees each.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa states that the government is currently going through an unfortunate period.
ආණ්ඩුව සම්පූර්ණයෙන් මේ පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන හස්තයක් බවට පත් කරේ. අවසානයේ වින්දිතියෝ තමයි අසරණ ආණ්ඩුව එන්න කඩම් වැටෙන එක තමයි වෙන්නේ. පව් ඉතින්. එයාට ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න තරම් මානසික ශක්තියක් නැහැ. ආණ්ඩුව අසරණ වෙලා ඉන්නේ පව් ඉතින්. ඒක ඇත්තටම එයාගේ නොහැකියාව සහ එයාගේ අපල කාලයක් ගැන බවත් තමයි.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa and former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa paid their last respects to the remains of the mother of Attorney at Law Manoj Gamage, who is also the media spokesperson for the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
SLPP General Secretary Attorney at Law Sagar Karyosan says the party is willing to support investigations into Suresh Saleh, who is currently in detention, if they are carried out under a court order. If the investigation into Suresh Saleh is conducted following a court order, we are in full agreement with it. What we oppose is the investigation being carried out under the directives of Anuruddha Kumar Dissanayake. However, if the matter is presented before a judge and conducted under judicial oversight, we fully support that. What we are saying is that it must be brought before the courts and the independence of the judiciary must be protected.
Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed in the Dabasa program on Sirasa TV.
The arrest of Suresh Saleh was carried out based on confessions made before a magistrate and statements submitted to court, and not arbitrarily by the Criminal Investigations Department. If there had been an intention to act following the Channel 4 revelations alone, the government could have made arrests immediately upon coming into power. However, that did not happen. Instead, the arrests were made after extensive investigations, with statements recorded from more than 100 individuals. It is important to note whose statements these were. They included former CID directors, senior deputy inspectors general, the Inspector General of Police, and forensic experts who served during the period in question. Under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, a detention order typically requires authorization at ministerial level, with the individual held at a designated location. However, for the first time in Sri Lanka's history, a court ordered that a suspect held under the PTA detention order be produced before the judiciary. The magistrate visited the location where Suresh Saleh was being held and made inquiries. Inquiries were conducted under court supervision, with judicial directives issued to record statements, including that of a witness named Azad Maulana. Accordingly, the CID acted strictly in line with court orders. The arrests were based on these recorded statements as well as intelligence gathered, including from military sources. Suresh Saleh was appointed as Director of the State Intelligence Service after Gotabaya Rajapaksa came into power. At that time, several individuals were detained under PTA provisions. Where was the evidence to detain Hijaz Hizbullah? The arrest of Suresh Saleh, however, has been made following the recording of over 10 key statements and supporting evidence.
So far, there has been no credible accusation that the police investigation has been politically influenced. Even the opposition has not clearly alleged direct interference in the investigation process.
In fact, there have been claims that the president was not aware of neither Suresh Saleh's detention or even the arrest of Ranil Wickremesinghe.
What is evident now is that both the courts and investigative officers are operating independently, without political interference or protection. Any deviation or interference could place these officials at serious risk. It is this independence that people demanded during public protests, allowing institutions such as the judiciary and law enforcement to function without external pressure. At present, these institutions appear to be functioning independently. However, some parties are now pushing to revert to the previous system of political intervention. The question arises as to why requests are being made to President Anuruddha Kumar Dissanayake to intervene on behalf of Saleh.
British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announced that he will resign, paving the way for the country's 7th leader in a decade after facing an uprising within his centre-left Labour Party.
Now, Andy Burnham is regarded by many as the frontrunner to replace Sir Keir Starmer after he secured an emphatic win over his Reform UK rival in last week's Makerfield by-election.
Therani Karnaratna brings us more on this. Therani?
Thank you very much, Hashini and Stevin. Sir Keir Starmer has said that he will quit as Labour Party leader, paving the way for a contest to decide a new Prime Minister. Speaking in Downing Street, Sir Keir said he had accepted that he was not best placed to lead Labour into the next general election, and he had informed the King of his decision to step down. Andy Burnham announced that he would put himself forward as a candidate in the new leadership contest. Andy Burnham was sworn in as the MP for Makerfield hours after Keir Starmer resigned as leader of the Labour Party. Let's now take a closer look at the British Prime Minister's announcement.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September. I will remain in post as Prime Minister until the contest is complete, and I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power. I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support, knowing that they will inherit a Britain that is far stronger and fairer than the one I inherited 2 years ago, better prepared for the challenges ahead, and better able to ensure the Labour Party secures a second term in office. And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
Six Prime Ministers have stood outside London's Downing Street in the space of a decade. Those who occupied the Prime Minister's residence since 2016 include David Cameron from the Conservative Party from 2010 to 2016, Theresa May from the Conservative Party, Boris Johnson from the Conservative Party from 2019 to 2022, Liz Truss from the Conservative Party in the year 2022, Rishi Sunak from the Conservative Party from 2022 to 2024, and Sir Keir Starmer from the Labour Party from 2024 to 2026. Sir Keir Starmer was elected leader of the Labour Party in April 2020 and became the Prime Minister on the 5th of July 2024 following Labour's landslide general election victory. He will leave Downing Street as the shortest-serving Labour Prime Minister in history. Discontent towards Sir Keir's leadership had also been rising before a poor set of election results in England, Wales and Scotland in May. This included over his decision to change direction on 3 major policies in a month after pressure from within his own party.
Moving on to more news overseas today, the United States and Iran made encouraging progress at the first round of talks aimed at reaching a final peace deal, although tension persisted over Lebanon and the Strait of Hormuz. Mediators Pakistan and Qatar said the two sides agreed to a roadmap towards a lasting deal to end their war within 60 days at the talks in the Qatari-owned Swiss mountain resort Birkenstock, which concluded early today.
The two sides also agreed on a mechanism to end fighting in Lebanon between US ally Israel and Iran-aligned Hezbollah and opened a communications line to help ensure safe passage for commercial ships through the strait, a vital global oil supply route. Sunday's meeting followed an interim deal signed last week and stretched into the early hours today, despite Tehran again shutting the waterway on Saturday and US President Donald Trump threatening to resume attacks on Iran. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif wrote on X, quote, "The discussions were held in a positive and constructive atmosphere and yielded encouraging progress," unquote. He added that the first round of talks had concluded successfully. Vice President J.D. Vance, who led Washington's delegation, told reporters Trump had, quote, "asked us to turn over a new leaf to transform our relationship with the people of Iran," unquote, and said progress had been made towards ending hostilities in Lebanon. The main Iranian negotiating team, including senior diplomat Mohammad Baghar Ghalibaf, left Switzerland for Tehran, Iranian student news agency ISNA confirmed, but technical talks were due to continue for the rest of this week. In a post on social media, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Tehran had secured waivers for oil and petrochemical exports, the release of some frozen assets and the launch of a reconstruction and development plan for Iran. Oil prices had risen sharply when Tehran started blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, prompting a US blockade of Iranian ports. But after the interim deal fell to their lowest since before the war began on the 28th February, with US-Israeli attacks on Iran. Oil prices fell further after Monday's joint statement, with worries about a supply shortage in global markets easing and global benchmark Brent crude trading below $80 per barrel. Meanwhile, the violence between Hezbollah and Israel has abated since late on Saturday. Security sources in Lebanon said Israel's last airstrike was on Saturday evening and that the lull in violence was the longest since Hezbollah opened fire in support of Iran on the 2nd March, although an Israeli drone could be heard over Beirut.
News First, main sponsor.
2 countries, 2 degrees within 4 years. Call ACBT.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now. Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
An elephant brought for a perahera in Rakwana, Ratnapura had attacked and killed both its handler and assistant.
Here is the story.
The Poson Perahera of the Sri Ubhayatilakha Rama Vihara in Rakwana paraded through the streets the day before yesterday. 2 elephants that participated in the procession had been tied within the temple premises, while our correspondent stated that they were scheduled to be taken to the Sankapala Vihara today. At around 7 a.m. today, one of the elephants was taken to a nearby river close to the temple to be given water. At that point, the elephant attacked the assistant. Hearing the screams, the mahout rushed to the scene, but the elephant also attacked him. The victims have been identified as a 44-year-old resident of Kitulgala and a 21-year-old youth. Following the attack, the elephant reportedly ran into a nearby paddy field. Wildlife officials who were informed of the situation later arrived at the location and were able to capture the elephant.
Weather first.
The Department of Meteorology has issued an advisory warning for strong winds and rough seas.
Chalma Ratnaika brings us the details on that along with today's weather report. Chalma?
Thank you very much, Devin and Hashni, and of course a very good evening to everyone joining us on Primetime News. As Devin and Hashni mentioned, the order of the day has been severe rainfall to most parts of the island, and according to the Department of Meteorology, which has issued an advisory warning of strong winds and rough seas, indicating that wind speeds could increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers in the sea areas off the coast extending from Kalpitia to Kankasanture via Mana and from Gaul to Portuville via Batiklo and Ampara and also Hambantota as well. It is important for the fishing and naval communities to remain vigilant regarding these advisories. And also, if we focus on the current rainfall situations, showers or thunder showers may occur from time to time in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces, as well as the Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara Elia districts. Meanwhile, with rainfall intensifying, a total of 1,069 dengue cases were reported in a single day, according to the National Dengue Control Unit, marking a sharp surge in infections across the country. As a result of the situation, hospital capacity has also increased, while the total number of dengue cases reported in Sri Lanka so far this year has reached 47,179.
Amid the prevailing monsoon weather conditions, a noticeable rise in dengue transmission is being observed. According to data from the National Dengue Control Unit, the highest number of dengue cases was reported yesterday. That number stands at 1,069. This is the first time that the number of new dengue cases reported in a single day has exceeded 1,000. At present, 47,179 dengue cases have been reported in the country, along with 28 deaths. The National Dengue Control Unit also stated that 112 MOH divisions have been identified as high-risk dengue areas. The highest number of cases continues to be reported from the Bharagama MOH division. The disease is also spreading rapidly in the districts of Matara, Gaul and Ratnapura, as well as in Panadura in the Kalutara district and Biyagama in the Gambha district. This represents a clear increase compared to 2024 and 2025.
Homes of individuals who fail to destroy dengue mosquito breeding sites will be taken under government control, Industry Minister Sunil Handunethi warned today in Tihagoda.
So far, 598 red notices have been issued. 330 legal cases have also been filed. When officials revisit places that received red notices, the situation remains unchanged. This means they are not afraid of red notices, they are not afraid of legal action, and they are not afraid of PHI officers. In fact, it seems like they are not even afraid of death. They are simply unwilling to clean their own premises. We have sufficient powers under the Municipal Council Act. According to the law, we can open closed houses. We will bring in the police and environmental police, enter these locked properties even by breaking gates if necessary, and inspect them. We will fully clean these lands and houses. We will establish a special fund, deploy workers and make payments to them through the local councils. After the cleaning the property, we will secure it, but we will not immediately hand over the key to the owner. When the owner comes forward, we will present the cleaning costs, including worker wages, and impose a fine that is 4 times the cost. Only after paying the fine will the key be handed over. We have been forced to make such decisions. There is no other option. Within the coming week, we will begin opening all locked houses and gated properties. If they still fail to learn from this, the next step will be to take over those properties and redistribute them to the people without homes.
Weather first.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
Welcome back to the news. The Embassy of France in Sri Lanka and the Maldives hosted a lively sundowner concert yesterday, marking the return of the global music festival Fête de la Musique.
A special sundowner concert bringing together French and Sri Lankan musicians for an unforgettable evening of live music, cultural exchange and sunset views was hosted by the Embassy of France in Sri Lanka and the Maldives yesterday. The concert featured a vibrant lineup of recognized artists, including French singer-songwriter Kelly Omoy, DJ Chandana, and the Sri Lankan band Dot Dote, who captivated the audience with a fusion of diverse musical styles. The event drew a distinguished crowd, including several high-level figures and members of the diplomatic community, underscoring the strong cultural ties between France and Sri Lanka. Newsfirst, Yes 101 and Legends 966 served as the official media partners of the event.
Fox Resorts Jaffna, operating under the Capital Maharaji Group, celebrated its 8th anniversary today.
Located in Cookville, Jaffna, Fox Jaffna by Fox Resorts, which has won the admiration of both local and international tourists, is a unique getaway showcasing outstanding natural beauty. Fox Jaffna by Fox Resorts is also renowned for its fine cuisine and beverages in the northern province. In 2020, Fox Resort received the SATA Award for the Best Heritage Hotel in South Asia. To mark the 8th anniversary of Fox Jaffna by Fox Resorts, multi-faith religious observances were held this morning. The anniversary celebrations were attended by the Group Director CEO of the Capital Maharaja Group, Suresh Srinivasan, the Chief Executive Officer of Fox Resorts, Chris Coyne, as well as officials and staff of Fox Resorts Jaffna.
The properties that come under the Fox Resorts brand is uniquely positioned in terms of its location. It has set its own standard within Sri Lanka. Fox Resorts continues to win global awards year after year because of these very reasons. Similarly, this year we are planning to launch ticketing from Jaffna at Fox Resorts, along with Fox Vacation Tours.
We today have the honor of being the #1 hotel in Jaffna, in the northern province as well. So we must thank our staff who have been with us throughout this period. And in order to celebrate this milestone, we are opening Fox Travels, Fox Vacations from today. We will have a dedicated licensed tour guide to take you all around. No matter which hotel you stay at, you'll have a guided tour from a professional who has a license to operate. This tour operating company now can organize tours for you to come to Jaffna by vehicle, by car, by air. It can even organize train service, bus service. You don't have to do all that. We take care of it. We've made traveling to Jaffna very easy, and we have taken it to a different level.
Fox Resort in 8வது ஆண்டு பூர்த்தியை முன்னிட்டு மரக்கன்றுகள்
Resorts, tree saplings were also planted. Fox Jaffna by Fox Resorts preserves a history of more than a century while blending it with modern luxury. One of the buildings here, which also carries memories from the war period, has been converted into an art gallery featuring a collection of works by renowned Sri Lankan artists. The other building has been turned into a museum showcasing the pre-war era of Jaffna.
7 to bring us some exciting sports news.
From the sporting arena, of course, we once again cross over to Jamal Ratnakar. Jamal?
Thank you, Stevin and Hashni, once more. Indeed, as you mentioned, the sporting arena is heating up these days, and today we have a particularly interesting piece of news to bring to you. American gymnastics champion Tiana Sumanasekaran has decided to represent Sri Lanka in the future. The 18-year-old athlete of Sri Lankan origin has been one of the standout performers in the United States over the past 5 years. Here's a look.
Tiana Sumanasekaran was born in California in 2007 as the eldest child of Rajita and Ruwangi Sumanasekaran. From a young age, she showed exceptional talent in gymnastics. At the 2023 Pan American Games, she won titles in all 4 apparatus as well as the balance beam event. She was also a member of the team that won the Pan American Championships in 2023 and 2025. Tiana represented the United States at the 2023 Winter Olympics. Following her strong performances at the selection trials for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, she was named as an alternate athlete in the US gymnastics team. Tiana has now announced through a post on her official Instagram account that she will represent Sri Lanka in the future. She stated that it would be, quote, an honor to represent Sri Lanka at the Olympic Games, unquote.
Spain secured their first victory of the FIFA World Cup 2026 last night. That was with a dominant 4-0 win over Saudi Arabia.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.